Welcome, fellow gamers.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig. You decide when you lose, not other people. And Blabs.
I like pickles.
And co-hosted by our friends from around the internet. If you like common sense, hit that thumbs up button and, of course, the subscribe button. And join us Monday through Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on God's green earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and SideScrollersPodcast.com. What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday to you. Am I underwater? Probably, but now I'm getting out. Great to see everybody. What's going on? How are you? Did you have a good weekend? You did? Or was it just insane like everybody else's? Of course it was. It's great to see you. How are you? Kind of exhausted, not gonna lie. Kind of tired, not starting the week off super strong, but we have good old caffeine helping us out. So here we are. Blabs, how are you today?
I watched a bunch of soccer yesterday.
You know, I did too. I watched a little bit of little football.
Which one, Argentina or Spain?
I watched the Argentina game at the tail end. That was pretty fun, pretty crazy.
It was good. Colombia's mean. They were like taking Argentina out left and right. I'm sure there was like shanks on their cleats or something.
Listen, football is very important to the Latino.
Thanks, Greg.
Yes. If you've ever been around soccer, it is nuts. It is life. It is life for sure. Well, look, yes, we can all sit around and crown the new Copa America champions.
Hey,
Argentina.
I'm happy for Messi. I'm happy.
Hey.
It's a good send-off for him.
Way to go. Did you see his giant ankle?
God, I look like a tree trunk. It's so bad.
Pull that up so we can talk about it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, it's Monday, which means we're joined by our buddy, our yellow friend. It's Yellow Flash. Hello, buddy. How are you?
Yo. Speaking of caffeine, I'm fired up. You know what I'm drinking today?
A double shot espresso.
White chocolate macadamia nut cold brew.
Man. Hold on. I'm pretty sure. You know what we need, Blabs? We need a clip of that guy going gay, like so we can play that.
We do. Or was it see you later, gay boys? So long, gay boys.
Come on, gay boys.
Pull it up because that's Flash today.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't care. It tastes so good. They're delicious.
So delicious. It's so good. Well, I'll tell you what, we got a big show today. I'll tell you, a lot happened this weekend, and I'll tell you this. I told this to Blaz. I put this on X yesterday. I've been both very excited about this show and kind of like I've had a really hard time like figuring out how to go into today's show because we try to stay away from politics, but I think that this is, but those who are detractors of the show will say that's all you talk about, right? And I would say, no, actually, that's not what we talk about. We just laugh at the insanity. And what happened this weekend was absolute insanity. And I think, when you're talking about a major world event like that, I think it's natural to discuss that. And I think we'd actually be doing a disservice if we just didn't talk about it. Disservice to you, who shows up every day and watches our show and tunes in. And hopefully you want to hear our thoughts on it. Now, look, we're going to get into that a little bit later on, specifically the reaction to it. I'm being very purposeful with the words that I'm using and not using because we're on YouTube and YouTube is silly like that. But with that said, we all know what happened this weekend. We're getting into that a little bit later on. It's going to be a conversation that's not for everybody. We get it. But when you're dealing with world events, I feel like it's something that we should probably talk about. And there's not a bigger story in the world right now. And, while we certainly are going to talk gaming and entertainment and all the insanity inside that place, there is crossover when it comes to this, just based off the response. So I hope you guys are cool with that. If you're not, totally fine. Get it. With that said, I do think it is certainly important to talk about because I do think that, our audience is normal men. It's just people who are living their daily life. You guys, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or going to work at a tractor shop or a paramedic or whatever it is that you do, this stuff affects you on a day-to-day basis. And that's why I think it's important to talk about it. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. But first, I would like to remind everybody once again, we are live over at rumble.com/side scrollers. Do us a favor, hit the follow button over there as we're closing in on 8,000 followers over there. You also could have found out that Flash was going to be on the show if you followed us over on X at x.com/side scroller pod. You could have also watched the show over there if you're just too lazy to get over here to YouTube or Rumble or whatever it is. We also have an Instagram account, don't we, Blabs?
We do, so follow us for memes and clips of the show. Otherwise, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I'd be disappointed in you, that's all.
Oh, no. And that's, once again, that is the worst if Blabs is disappointed in you. Like, come on, we all know that. We also have a Kick account, and of course, you can listen to the show over on Apple Podcast and Spotify, which we encourage you guys to find us over there. But if you notice at the top of your screen, coming in 3, 2, 1, bam, right there, you can find us over at sidescrollerspodcast.com, and you can support our sponsors, bluebonnetsupplements.com, and of course, the Real Game Awards, which we passed 325 members over the weekend, which is spectacular. So thank you guys very much for your support over there. We look forward to continuing to grow, and the nomination process has been big, and it's been the category suggestion process has been big and heavy, and all sorts of great suggestions over there. So if you guys haven't yet, consider becoming a member over at therealgameawards.com. All right, so look, we got a lot to go over today. And you guys are obviously off to a wonderful start. Thank you so much for your support. Miku came in right off the bat, says, I told you, I knew they would try to. Okay. Thank you, Miku. Appreciate that. Absolutely Ready says, did you see Mark Hamill's tweets after the assassination attempt? Will Disney hold him to the same standard as Carano?
I covered this. He had a tweet saying, oh, now we need to talk about gun violence. And that came after his tweet where he said, congratulations to him and you. Right.
I'll tell you what.
He's a piece of shit, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's doing just as much damage to Star Wars as Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, to answer your question, absolutely Ready. No, of course not. Of course they won't have any sort of discipline when it comes to Mark Hamill and his relationship with Star Wars. No, of course not. They will not treat him like Gina Carano. 1,000% no. But I do like your avatar, by the way. Absolutely Ready. That's awesome. Jake came in and gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Jake. Appreciate that. That is awesome. Gear came in with the 50,000 Indonesian monies. Says Concord is everything wrong with competitive shooters, from rigged matchmaking to badly written characters. Well, we're going to be digging into Concord in a major way today, as their beta happened this weekend. The beta, and wouldn't you know it? Nobody played it.
Their beta was beta.
What? No one is interested in doing playing as fat women and robots with pronouns?
Dude, it's so fun. I mean, this
is more like it's just a copy of all other games mashed together, but poorly done.
It's basically woker Overwatch. That's what it is.
This may go down. I'm serious when I say this. Like we the biggest failure in the last 5-10 years has 100% been Suicide Squad, but Concord may be a close second. I mean, they're right there, and this game, I mean, when you say dead on arrival, this game come on, not even a chance. There's no way this thing works unless they just totally, the narrative behind this game is it has it dead before it even has a chance. It's ridiculous. Here we go. Slygloss came in and says, hey, hi, Yellow Flash. Big fan since the comic book stabbing vids. I don't even know what that's a reference to. Says, what's your favorite Queen song? I'm guessing Fat Bottom Girls. Do you like Fat Bottom Girls?
My favorite one is God, what's the name of it?
We Will Rock You.
No.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Another one bites the dust. I don't know why I was blinking on it.
Isn't that the CPR song? That and Staying Alive. It's the right
Another
combo.
one bites the dust.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a CPR song.
What's that? Another one bites the dust?
Yeah, that and Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. It's the right
tempo
it is. For when you practice.
Staying Alive is the CPR.
Like, they both are. They're both the same. So,
I didn't know that. Staying Alive is the one I learned to do it to.
I have no idea. What are you talking about?
Okay, so apparently Craig never learned CPR in school.
No,
Yeah,
I
this
didn't.
is how they teach you in the class because I'm CPR certified.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Pro.
you know the dummies, CPR dummies?
Uh-huh.
They teach you how to do that with the music playing in the background at the right tempo, and it's every single beat. It's staying alive. So also another one bites the dust is a great example.
Oh, another one. Except you don't want people to bite the dust while you're getting the CPR. That's good. All right. Slagless followed up says, remember gamers, don't get drunk at a bar while your pregnant girlfriend sits at home and takes a cosplayer named Gothic Sushi back to your hotel room. Be great. All right, Slagless. Well, thanks for the reminder. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Worthy One says, it seems like the world goes insane every time you go touch grass, Craig. I'll tell you what, man. Yes, correct. We're going to get into that here in a little bit as well. Like when I leave town, let me just say this. When I leave town, go on a little weekend vacation or whatever, I do not have X on my phone ever, because for me it's a giant distraction. All I do all day is see how tweets are doing or whatever and see what's going on, and I do not like to be sucked into that void. But this weekend, obviously, I had to reinstall it because of all the insanity that was happening. And yeah, it seems like every time I go out of town or touch grass, something just blows up. It's nuts. Miku says, F Jack Black, F Destiny's wife. We'll get to Jack Black in a little bit as well. Soon as Soul Silver came in, says, when I heard about the assassination attempt, I thought it was a joke. Then I realized how bad of a state of modern politics are when the first thing I think about the situation was a joke, right? Absolutely ready, says, Ireland says, thank you to Spain. Yes, Spain knocking off England yesterday. John says, remember, Jeff Hicks' Woke Busters, closes out at the end of the month. Go support it. Yes, over at World Class Bullshitters. Good stuff. Dawnbreaker says, don't forget everyone's favorite anthem. Thank you. This anthem was a giant failure as well, for sure. Nathan came in and says, on Saturday, I beat the final boss of the Elden Ring DLC and found out the former president got shot at from my dad. Bit of mixed emotions that day. Yeah, I can totally see how you go from the highs and the lows and the everything in between, for sure. Gaming with Spoon says, sometimes big world events have such an impact on things that you have to talk about them. Politics affect culture, right? And I think culture affects politics and vice versa. It's all around it, man. Andrew says, man, what a quiet weekend this was. Go see Horizon, the American saga, by the way. I've heard that's really good, but I've also heard that it's not doing well at the box office, which is unfortunate. Flash, have you seen Horizon, the Kevin Costner Western?
I was going to, but I hear mixed things on it. Some people say it's good. Some people say it's really boring. So I don't know. I'm going to wait for it to come out on streaming, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah. The one thing I heard about that was that it's, I think I heard this from Film Threat, was they said, I think Chris Gore said it was more or less a TV show that was formatted for a four movie release. So it was like a 12 episode series that got turned into kind of like a movie. So a movie series. So anyways, yeah. I definitely am intrigued by checking that out. Delta came in with a 5, says, just a friendly reminder to you normal men with impulses like me. If you use Twitter or YouTube and they're getting shitty over the election cycle, like a certain debater or fat Canadian, a good idea to unfollow and block them for a few months. Yeah, I hear that, Delta. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yes, there's nothing wrong with the block button. Oh, what do we got here? A Terminator anime being released. Okay, all right. Nice. We'll check that out in just a few minutes. Sounds good. Ooh, a Terminator anime. Do you think when I heard it, anime is done by like it's a Eastern thing, like Japanese culture, right? Asian culture. Mm-hmm. But like I don't know. It's something somebody has like. Flash, do you know a whole lot about anime?
No.
So when I think like anime, is it just a distinct art style or what?
Yeah, I don't like it when Netflix is like, yeah, we have this anime and it's not. Like anything made from the West, even though it's all animation, but like specifically anime to me is stuff that comes from Japan.
Yeah, right.
I hate it when they call it the Terminator. It's the Terminator anime, but it was commissioned and made by Western people. Even if it was a Japanese studio that made it, like this, it just doesn't count to me. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but I don't consider this Netflix Terminator an anime. Not if it was Western commissioned.
Yeah, I know
that He-Man show, I believe, was made by the Kevin Smith He-Man. I think that was a Japanese studio that drew that. Is that anime? X-Men 97 was drawn by the same company that does the Spy X Family show. Is that anime?
These are questions that I don't know how to answer, Flash. I don't know, but I think they're logical for sure. I don't know. I know that when Ruby was released at Rooster Teeth, they were like the first Western anime to be released in whatever. And it's like, okay, I don't know. Whatever. Anime is for me, it's, I know for a lot of people, it's like, their culture and stuff and what they're into. But for me, it's, and maybe it comes down to art style, I guess. But for me, like anime is cartoons.
No,
right?
no, I'm not saying so. Real quick, somebody in the chat says Spy X Family is an anime. I'm not saying that. I'm saying X-Men 97 is, from what I understand, drawn by the same studio that made that animation. So it's X-Men 97 anime? No.
Right. If it's made by the same people who made an anime, it's the same studio. They're still doing the same thing. So, yeah, I don't know. All right. Yeah, it says anime is an art style rather than a regional thing. All right. Sounds good. Okay. All right. Let's get into this. Oh, we got a Tech Support Gaming came in with 5. Says we talk about video game failures, and we're gonna forget about Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad too.
Yeah, we could definitely. That'd be a fun list to do, like the top 10 worst gaming failures in history.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that. Was it? We did a community post months ago,
like
right? And we're like, "What's the worst, event in the video game?"
You got to do that on a Monday.
So
okay.
you got to go on a Monday. It's funny. I've been kicking around this idea for a piece of weekend content, and this kind of spawned a couple of weeks ago, and I was working on some assets for this weekend. A long time ago, back at Screw Attack, we did this thing called the top 10 PABs. PAB meant pussy ass bitch. And it was just the people in the video game industry who like suck the most. And I thought about creating a power ranking for this and doing it every single week on the channel. People who suck the most in the video game industry, people who are just absolute jerks. And also doing the best people in the industry, doing like a best and the worst every single weekend. I think that'd be really, really funny and ongoing. Like, Alyssa Mercante went up 2 spots this week because she said this whatever. I think it'd be a funny video to do and treat it like it's a sports thing. Really over the top. Be fun. Koale says, former president got blam on my birthday. It's not fun. Prayers to the lost and injured. I just want to be amongst the normal men. I hear you. Normal men look at that and say, that ain't right. Yeah, sorry that happened on your birthday. July 13th, man. Eric came in and says, I liked Waterworld, even though a lot of people told me it was bad. So I'll give Horizon a chance. There you go, Eric. Hey, don't listen to everybody. You just do your own thing. You just do your own thing. All right, Blabs, fill us in. What do we got today in video game history?
All right. Well, supposedly I made a mistake, but I was following one of the gaming websites, so you guys can lecture me. July 15th is the birthday of the NES. Now, released back in 1983, I am mistaken, I believe. We also have Beyblade. Now, who remembers the actual Beyblades? I had no idea there was a video game of Beyblades, and I had to share it. So, Beyblade Metal Masters came out in 2010, and then we have Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sector releasing back in 2021. Ta-da!
So yes, Blabs, you missed it. It was 83. So 83 was Japan. 85 was the United States.
Yeah, I must have just done a little typo on my keyboard when I'm doing it.
Typos happen. Typos happen for sure. But then that's okay. But yeah, the NES, obviously it's the granddaddy. I mean, it's not the granddaddy of them all, but that changed the video game industry in a major way and really kind of laid the groundwork for where we're at as far as, today's. That's like the new start to the video game industry after the Atari world and Atari and television and everything else in between, which
saved it.
Oh yeah, 1000%. with the way they approached it.
See, it's
You
such
know,
a
really,
huge
it's-
difference in age because I'm all about that Beyblade. 'Cause I had those as a kid, right? Such a difference.
I'm all
I
about
think-
that Beyblade.
The story with the NES is really interesting. How they marketed it as a toy. You know?
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
they did. Everyone was afraid to carry video games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1,000%. I think that's, the idea of that's why they bundled the Rob robotic operating buddy with it. That's why they had the Zapper with it. That's why you got so much in your package back, and it was a Nintendo Entertainment System as opposed to Nintendo video game console. But yeah, this Blad's pulled this up. This was a fun little interactive rage, or I guess farming post over on X that we saw. It's worth looking at. Here we go. Check this out. Which controller did you start with? Chat, this is a question for you guys. Flash, which one did you start with out of here?
2
with the NES. Yeah. Labs?
7 PlayStation.
The original PlayStation? I got you guys beat because my first console actually isn't on here at all. And I guarantee you have no idea what this is. This was my first console controller. Does anybody have any idea what this is?
Dial up.
It's an Atari controller.
That is an Intellivision controller.
Oh shit!
Yes,
Okay.
We had this at my house, and this thing here, it was like a touchpad before a touchpad. And
Damn, Craig, you old.
well, yeah, I am old. Been there since the start, baby. But here's the interesting thing about it was up here you could slide in like little film overlays on top of the buttons. So if you're playing a baseball game, like the 2 would look like second base, the 6 would look like a first base, and 4 would look like third base, and 8 would look like home, right? And they would have like little overlays that you put on top of it. But this thing in particular down here, I remember this just being an absolute mess to control with. Obviously, as you'd expect. I think it was like an 8-way controller. But yeah, man, it was, so that was my first controller. But the one I really spent a lot of time with was obviously number 2 back in the day, which is the old NES. So
I thought Atari had something like that too, didn't they? Where you would put an overlay over the controller.
I don't know. I don't
Or was that
remember
just in television? I didn't know that then. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, look, we got a lot to talk about, and I appreciate you guys. Well, once again, anything we're talking about, guys, we expect you guys to be chatting about in the chat, letting us know what you guys think about these things. We got a lot to talk about today. The video game world is insane, and that is why this show exists. But we're glad you guys are here. Do us a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. I didn't even mention this. We're sitting at 87,600 just normal men. Let's do our best to get to 1,000 likes and 25 memberships today. I think we can. And like I said, we had a crazy ass weekend, and I'm gonna just let everybody know, if you guys want to go pick up that American Pride shirt, it's still there sitting for you. We're gonna keep that shirt available forever. So you guys make that available. I think I have it at $25 right now. So go pick up your American Pride shirt. Link is in the description down below. It's at the merch store. All right. We got a lot to get into today. Thank you guys very much. Max says the term anime is French in origin. Huh. I always just thought it meant like animation, but that's just me. I don't know a whole lot about that world. Umurete says, Flash, any idea why I can't listen to a member Flashcast with my phone locked? It stops playing. Did you change something on YouTube? Was fine before.
No, I don't know what's going on with that. I'll look into it.
Okay. Snotlip says, got Ricky Berwick on the show. His crippled news is based. That's funny. Speaking of Ricky Berwick, I've never had any interaction with him, but I saw Despicable Me 4 this weekend. I guess maybe Thursday this past week. I saw it with my parents, of all things. My family was out of town, so I went to go see a movie with my mom and dad, and it was awesome. So there's a character in Despicable Me 4 that his name is like Mr. Happy or something. He's a janitor in the school. And I haven't seen pictures of him online, but if you cannot tell me that character is not inspired by Ricky Berwick, like it is almost one for one, their mannerisms, everything. And I think Ricky may have a case when it comes to the idea of major inspiration.
You use my likeness.
Yes, 1,000%. Javi came in and says, Blabs, Do you know Let It Rip?
It says, "Do you let it rip" for Beyblade? But I also feel like that's like a fart joke, so I'm just gonna move on.
Oh, sorry. Miku says Craig bought a NES speedboard back in the day. I don't even know what that is, Miku. Hey, it's Norm Al Mann says, hello, my name is Norman Albert Mann. My friends told me to watch this channel because they told me that you talk about me often. Oh no, only now I realize you're talking about normal men. Either way, I'm loving the show. Oh, well, thanks, Norm. We love all norms on the show, most of them. Glad you're here. And you look like a Trump puppy dog almost. What a nice little avatar. Thanks, Norm. Great to see you. I look forward to you being a big fan of the show. Speaking of big fans of the show, Tech Support Gaming came in with 5 memberships. Let's go. That's awesome. And Boss Hog came in with 10 gifted memberships. Tech Support Gaming and Boss Hog. Let's go with them. Ooh-woos.
There you go.
From Blabs. Thank you very much, guys. You got a gifted membership. Make sure you say thank you. Boss Hog, that's spectacular. Tech Support Gaming, thank you very much. Dan also came in and says, how's it going? Got to see Longlegs, the new horror movie last night. To me, it wasn't scary, but it's creepy, and I like it. Fine. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. It's great.
I do want to see that. Anything with Nicolas Cage, I want to see.
Oh, is he in a horror movie? Is that what that is?
Yeah, he's in. I think that's the movie he's in, where he plays like a creepy killer. He's creepy in the trailer, so. The last
Nick Cage movie I saw was it was like the Friday Night at Freddy's kind of knockoff, where he doesn't say a word.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. It was definitely a fun one. Anime Core came in as a brand new member. Let's go, Anime Core. Thank you very much. And James says, Intellivision was made by Gerald Electronics and sold to Mattel. The disc was 360 controller. The problem was it was film contacts. My dad was one of the engineers that made it. What? Oh, that's awesome. James, tell your dad, give your dad a big old high five for me, because that's really cool. Your dad is a major trendsetter in the world of video games. Good for you, James. That is spectacular. Woo! Very cool, man. Very cool. Talk to your dad. Oh, no, I'd love to talk to your dad. That's great. All right. We got a lot to get to today, as I said multiple times. So let's get into it. It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. Time for hard news. All right, so here we go. Right off the bat, we have a new trailer for a Terminator anime series that's coming out on Netflix. Are you a big Terminator fan, Flash?
I like the first 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think
like
after
the second one a
first
lot. I would put the second one up there like as one of my favorite action movies.
I saw 3. I remember seeing 3 and being like, I think Arnold's getting kind of old. Even then, and it's been, 20 years since 3 was released? But the fact that they've been able to continue Terminator this long, yeah. It's kind of like limping along, I think at the end of the day, Terminator is Arnold, and Arnold is Terminator. And like everything else is, whatever. But this apparently is called Terminator Zero, which by the title, I would expect this to be a like an origin story almost for Terminator. Blabs, have you seen this?
No, I know nothing about Terminator.
Oh, okay. Well,
have you ever seen the second one?
Nope.
Wow.
Maybe I have. I don't know.
You should watch the first.
I've seen a lot of things when I was a kid, but
the first one is kind of stuck in the 80s because of its soundtrack, but it's still a good movie. The second movie, I would argue, is pretty timeless, even though it's got like a. I mean, people make the argument that has the same thing because it has like Guns N' Roses in it, but that song still sounds good today. 80s music, to me, it's pretty distinct. And I like 80s music, but it's pretty distinct to its time era. Like it's got things that just kind of keep it grounded in the 80s. I think the second movie is it's more of a timeless movie. Because a lot of that stuff in that movie still holds up pretty good, in my opinion.
I think even the visual effects hold up pretty well for something that
they do.
35 years old almost. It's crazy. Blabs, that would be a great blind spot for you to see the Terminator films like that. Why?
I have no interest in Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
What?
At all.
Wow.
Get to the chopper! No, thanks.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Are you serious?
No. Yes.
Why?
Because I'm just not interested in it. Doesn't
You don't like
kill me.
action?
Yeah.
You don't like fun?
Yes, I do. Just because what? So only Arnold Schwarzenegger is in those categories.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Buckaroo.
Hold on. Have you seen Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah. Yes, I think so. Which is the one that we talked about with Cody with the stupid toy. That's the Christmas movie with Jake Lloyd in it. I've seen that one. It's god awful. So.
How the fuck? Okay. Well,
Good morning, everybody. You guys have a nice day.
not even Conan the Barbarian.
Who?
Labs,
Oh
can
my
we?
God.
Can we? Okay, look. Kindergarten Cop is a good middle ground. It's not all action, right? It's when Arnold was
Commando.
Flash. Like she hasn't seen it. She hasn't. Okay.
Predator.
No.
So long, gay boys.
What is? No, don't be like that, Blabs. Yeah, last Action Hero.
Last
True
Action
Lies?
Hero. Sure,
What?
Last Action Hero is an underrated movie. That movie's great. I love
Have you
that
ever
movie.
True Lies. Blabs.
It's a great one.
True Lies is one of the best like action films ever. You know- Blabs, can we please watch Kindergarten Cop?
Is it funny?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
hilarious.
Maybe.
Yes,
It's about a
it's
big
like-
giant, like fucking action cop, like hard-headed, hot-headed cop, fucking taking care of kids. It's funny.
I'm
He
telling
was
you,
the first one to really do that. Like I remember Hulk Hogan tried to copy that with that Nanny movie.
Mr. Nanny. Yep. Look, we're learning more today, and Blabs, that's it. Kindergarten Cop. We gotta watch that together. Okay, I think it's a great.
Only if I can have like a
middle
big
ground.
bowl
Running
of
Man. So come on, man. What this is crazy, Blabs. You're insane.
Yes, this isn't like new information. I don't know why all of a sudden you guys are having to freak out.
But I think the gravity of the situation is just really hit us for the first time, Blabs. You know, the idea that there's all these just absolute classics. I mean, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, we got a pair.
Oh,
Oh,
Recall.
screw your freedom, that guy.
Yeah, listen, we get it.
He's insane now. This is back in the day when all he wanted to do was crush pussy and fucking drink vodka and smoke pot
Cheat on
and
his
lift
wife.
weights.
Yeah, it's all good.
Blabs. Separate the art from the artist.
Fine, do that with Mark Hamill then too.
Listen, I can and I do, but it doesn't mean he's not a piece of shit, right? But here's the thing, Blabs.
He wasn't
We-
back then.
We have a guy right here in our run sheet, right here. Listen to this guy. How do you understand?
That's
these
why
references?
we're talking about it, and you're
Oh,
welcome.
no. How do we? I mean, I just felt like tying this in. This is like, listen to this. This is how do you get these references if you can't? If you
Because
can't,
it's just funny. I understand the original references for the movies that he's mimicking.
Of course, we have every line from the movies memorized. We are Arnold fans. Of course, we were traumatized by the eyes bulging out in Total Recall. We are Arnold fans.
by the way, Flash, doesn't this guy just kill it? His Arnold voice is spectacular.
You should
Yeah, it's
play
good.
one of the memes that he was doing. And so you don't see his face or anything. He was just copying lines.
Oh, he's great.
Of course, we can smoke our stogies wherever we want. We don't have to find a hiding spot because we are ballsy. We are Arnold fans. Of course, our friends, family, and coworkers are sick of it. We are Arnold fans. Of course, when we see a helicopter, we say, "Get to the chopper!" We are Arnold fans. Of course, we put those cookies down. We are Arnold fans. The only movie we watch during Christmas is Jingle All the Way.
Oh, that's another
Yeah,
classic, Blabs. Another one added to
Isn't
the
that the one-
list.
Action figure?
It's a great, clear. What? You don't like that? You've seen it and didn't like that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was.
That's a
ugh.
classic Christmas movie. Boot this woman off the podcast, Craig.
Oh no, I have a different opinion. Kick.
Yeah, it's an awful opinion, though. I mean, there's difference between a difference of opinion and just one that's just so awful.
I think
it's not me.
Blabs. I think Blabs. We need to educate you a little bit on when it comes to Arnold.
A concentration camp for Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
I don't think so. But thank you.
If by that you mean make you watch Kindergarten Cop and expose you to the greatness that is the movie, then yes, absolutely.
I will contemplate it only because it seems to really aggravate you guys, and I'm kind of enjoying it.
I think you'll enjoy it. Here's the thing. I actually think you'd very much enjoy Kindergarten Cop.
We will
I think
see. If it's like Jingle All the Way, absolutely not.
No, Labs, I'm going to say this right now. Kindergarten Cop may be a top 5 film when it comes to Arnold. I mean, it's pretty great. You know, it's no Running Man, but it's great.
What would you put as your top 5 Arnold movies?
All right. Terminator 2, in no particular order. And chat, this question for you guys too. Terminator 2, Running Man is one of my favorites ever, right? Kindergarten Cop, True Lies. Man, how do you limit it to 5? How do you limit it to 5 when it comes to Arnold? Pumping Iron, even the documentary. I mean, come on. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, Commando's great. Jingle All the Way. Total Recall, it's good. You know, it's not one of my top 5ers. Twins, good Lord. Banger. That's all Arnold released in the 80s and 90s, just nonstop. What about you?
Oh, Conan, Terminator 2, Predator, Running Man, and then I would go Kindergarten Cop. And it's hard. I really want to put Commando up there, but those are my favorite.
Well, Blabs, what do you think? I'm just saying, Kindergarten Cop. That'll be your foray into the world of Arnold, I think.
We'll think about it.
All right.
Oh, even The Sixth Day is good. I see someone putting that in there. I
You
even
should
like the
definitely
one.
play.
What was the one where he? It's like one of the first movies he came back and did after a while, where he's playing this kind of rundown cop and he's fighting the devil. Remember that movie?
Rundown cop and he's fighting the devil. No, I don't recall
End
that.
of Days.
You should play one of the
Days.
examples of the Arnold impersonator, just like on a random meme, because it's fantastic. I have to
End
say.
of Days is good too. I really like that movie.
Wow. All right. This is going to be its own segment, Blabs. We're going to clip this out. This is all.
Will I get all the hate again? The chest
No,
just
no,
like,
no,
oh,
no.
she's such a brat for not liking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Blabs. No one says you're a brat because you haven't seen Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. All right. All we're saying is allow me the opportunity. If you're going to give me crap for not seeing Lord of the Rings, you got to at least be ready to receive it when it comes to Arnold.
Different
No,
categories.
they're not.
Really? No.
No, they're not.
Only when you have a point is it the same category.
It's not, Blabs. They're both culturally relevant things.
I agree with Craig 100% here.
Like, you don't have people impersonating Lord of the Rings characters on Instagram. You have people
Yes, they do. You're not in Instagram, I guess.
You have people impersonating Arnold. And Arnold is iconic. Just saying. And yes, I have seen Lord of the Rings. I watched all 3. I am actually the Lord of the Rings expert, those asking in the chat. Well, anyways, so Terminator Zero has a trailer.
Real quick before you get on it, do you remember when people would use soundboards of celebrities and do prank calls? The best ones were with Arnold.
Absolutely. Oh, 1000%. Yes. Man, we got to be able to pull one of those up. Hold on.
They're so good. Like, who is your daddy and what does he do? What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God. Yes, I hear that, man. This is awesome. Yes, there's so many of these.
Or they use it and you could hear cars and sounds from the background going, and then the next clip's just like a normal, clear Arnold voice.
Right.
Oh, they were so good.
Here, Blabs. This is classic internet right here. Okay. This is we'll see about a minute of this. Okay. So what people had back in the day, they had like a soundboard, just like I can do this, right? Or change my voice. They would have soundboards of different quotes from movies, and they would have entire conversations with people with those quotes. You ready? You ready for this, Blabs?
I think I've heard them. Like, wait, was it like early 2000s or something? They were doing this, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. There's one of them with Arnold. I've not pre-screened this, so hopefully this goes well.
COD lobby.
Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
7:30 at night.
Who the hell? Detective John Kimball.
John Kim.
Yeah. Could I speak to the drug dealer of the house, please?
Drug dealer of the house. Dude, you reached a plumber. I'm trying to fix something here. You got the wrong goddamn number. You need to call somebody else.
You lie!
What do you mean I lie?
Yes.
Listen, man, I'm in the middle of a job right now. You need to call me back. I'm not trying to be rude, man, but listen, I'm on a job. I got work to do. I got a customer waiting.
You psychopathic bitch. You psychopathic bitch.
No, I think you got the wrong number. But listen, I'm trying to get a job done here, and I really cannot talk right now. If you need services, you call me back at a later date. I'm more than happy to help you out, but right now, it doesn't seem like you're a freaking paying customer. It seems like you're a wise ass with the wrong number. Hello?
Could I speak to the drug dealer of the house, please?
Okay. Listen,
Yeah.
man, you got the wrong number. I'm a plumber. Did you reach Murphy's Plumbing?
No. You give me the names of your drug suppliers and distributors, and I'll tell the judge what a nice cooperative killer you are.
Dude, you need to call somebody else. This is Murphy's Plumbing.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
I'm not bullshitting you, man. You need to call someone else.
Wrong.
No fucking drug dealer.
Well, you must be very proud of yourself.
I think I'm pretty goddamn successful for still being self-employed. So,
And you expect me to believe you? You know you're lying.
listen, man, I don't care what you think. Just call somebody else. If you need plumbing services, I'm your man. I'm no drug dealer, so you need to call somebody else. I do an honest living, honest pay.
You lie!
I mean, it's brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Love it.
Man, I used to laugh so like I couldn't get enough of them.
No, I would listen to those all day. Like there'd be like people, this back in the day where you'd release comedy albums, you know?
The Joe Pesci ones are really good too. Like you're tougher to get hold of than the president.
Joe Pesci. He's funny.
It's like, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to swing a tire iron on you.
So mean, so threatening. That's awesome. Yeah, back in the day of E-Bombs World and Newgrounds. It's great stuff. Great stuff. Well, with that said, a new trailer is released for Terminator Zero, and we're not going to watch it. So there we go. It can't be better than what we just watched. Sorry. So I figure we got to move on because it doesn't get better than what we just watched. So sorry, Blabs.
I literally just typed it in. I was like, okay.
Well, we got 15 minutes of quality Arnold Schwarzenegger content right there. Let's go. All right, let's move on to our next story. Hey, a lot of news came down over on X over the weekend. And, it was one of those things where X is this real-time stream of information that a lot of times there's good information and a lot of times there's bad information. And you got to shuffle through. Anybody who uses it knows kind of what's happening, that you got to take things with a grain of salt as it's coming out. There's a lot of reactionary stuff. This happens. But this was a really interesting tweet from Elon Musk, and this came out on the 12th, on Friday. He said, the European Commission offered X an illegal secret deal. If we quietly censored speech without telling anyone, they would not fine us. The other platforms accepted the deal. X did not, right? Now, obviously, it's kind of like, Dev's like, is there proof the deal was offered, right? And when you're talking about this, it's one of those where you go like, okay, is there proof? Pixar didn't happen, proofer didn't happen, right? And one of the responses to this was like, I think it's he offered. He's the motherfucking owner of Twitter. If there's anyone who would have proof, it's him, right? So I think this is interesting. The idea that you'd have a government group saying like, hey, we won't fine you if you just start calming down the free speech a little bit. Flash, your thoughts on this?
He's a member. He's one of the elite. Like, what more do you need? They call for his head now all the time.
Elon Musk?
So, yeah, I believe him there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Labs, you got any thoughts on that?
I would agree with Dev saying let's have the proof of this. Of course, everybody wants to see it, but I don't doubt that it hasn't happened. I mean, look at all the stuff going on with the Twitter files, Brazil. Somebody put that in one of the things for Dev. Like, there's a lot of things that add up, so I wouldn't doubt that happened. And I'm glad he didn't accept the deal, because most of us wouldn't be seeing the news then.
I mean, for the most part, Elon has been pretty transparent. I mean, you remember the Twitter files?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Twitter files.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of data that's happening that, these are major stories that have a, maybe a 2-week life cycle. The Twitter files was very big. And then there was another Twitter files, then another Twitter files. And at a certain point, they kind of, while the data may have been just as important, the momentum behind them was lost. But I will say this, I don't think that we would have seen the accountability. And I certainly don't think we would have seen the full story of what happened had people not been on X this past weekend. And had Musk taken this deal, this idea of like censoring speech from the European Commission, I think that this weekend would have looked a lot different, for sure. But I also think it says a lot about when you have a European Commission saying going more or less bribing the idea that, look, if you censor this, we're not going to fine you. But if you do, we're going to fine, or if you don't, we are going to fine you. Like, this is a government entity doing this. That's messy, man. That's messy. All right, let's move on. Sun Woku came in, says, take this $50 for Flash's awesome profile picture. Also, direct donation doesn't work for me. I've tried several times in the past. Well, thank you very much for that support. Genuinely appreciate that. Look at that. Hey, do us a favor. Look at that, Sun Woku. That's awesome. And thank you very much for Flash for that wonderful profile picture.
It's going to be one of the most iconic American photos of all time.
I agree. I mean, that happened in real time. And the fact that, by the way, the guy who got that picture, man, I hope he gets royalties. He never will. But man, that guy, what a boss taking that picture. That's ridiculous. Speaking of bosses, Blabs, let's go to a post you had over the weekend. Going through the Daily Mail.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, what did I do?
Blabs, why don't you walk us through this story? Because I don't think I can touch this one, or can I? Probably not.
Is the pun intended about touching? So,
Yeah.
Daily Mail US says women with large breasts are more likely to experience aggression from other ladies because they're seen as a bigger threat. Study finds. So I just find it ironic, the bigger threat with bigger tits. That's hilarious.
As somebody who is not a woman, Blabs, is this true? Do you find women who have larger gazungas a threat?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're confident in yourself? I think that's really what it comes down to is self-worth, self-confidence when it comes to this.
Besides, there's pros and cons for small boobs, big boobs. So it's like, just be happy with your own body. I know that's hard to do because everyone's very self-conscious and they can find 20 things wrong with their body and wrong with their face, but it's just true.
Agreed. Flash, is there anything on your body you'd like to change?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to be the size of Arnold.
Man, let's go. I want the abs of Jake Gyllenhaal. That's what I want. Let's go. Bringing it back to Jake. Speaking of abs and bodies, I'll tell you what. Let's go to our next quick hit here. Do you remember when Daniel Craig was in Casino Royale? Do you remember that? The beach scene in particular, Flash, where he's getting out of the water and he looks like a freaking stallion. Do you remember this scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, wow, he looks great. He's kind of like strong, got the big chest, big arms, right? Well, that was almost 20 years ago now. I think that movie was released in 2006. By the way, phenomenal movie, Casino Royale, right?
That's the best one, I think, out of all of the ones he did. That, and I like Skyfall, too. Those are the only two I really like.
Well, I'll tell you this. Yeah, it's a great movie. For me, Daniel Craig he was a great Bond, right?
Wait, isn't he like the only one you've seen?
No, I have seen Pierce Brosnan, and I've seen bits of
Sean Connery.
Bits of Sean Connery, and also the one guy in the '60s. I don't remember his name. There's another one, but yeah.
Okay,
Anyways, yeah.
Of course, you like him though the most because his name's Craig. Though, let's be real.
Yeah, that's why. That's 100% why. But I'll say this. Things are not going well. We've seen a drastic change in Daniel Craig. And I don't know if it's the
Roger
glasses.
Moore. Thank you.
Yeah, there it is. I don't know if it's the glasses or the sweater, but Daniel Craig has taken a little turn for the worse here, Flash. As
What is this? Is this a movie?
this is Daniel Craig looks like a hacker working for Hans Gruber.
Like, what is that? He
To
looks
be
like some
fair, is he
70s
getting ready for
hippie.
a part or something?
I don't know what this is, but it's
Because Christian Bale has gotten skinny before. And then it's actually interesting how skinny he was in like The Machinist, and then boom, ramped up for Batman. Like it's almost crazy how little he looks in that movie, and then packed on all that muscle for the Batman movie.
yeah.
Well, I don't think that's the issue, right? Because people age that obviously aren't as fit as they used to be. They don't stay in shape for certain roles anymore. It's the way he's portraying himself in this shoot right now. I'm assuming somebody probably picks his outfits for him too, but you can't always be like, no. So like, look at his outfit, his hair, the glasses. It screams like a 1970s like hippie dippy thing going on. I don't know. It doesn't suit him. It's a no from me.
He looks like a 56-year-old lesbian, and I'm here for it. He does, doesn't he? It's a great.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, there's Daniel Craig in his current state today. So good for him. Go get it, Daniel. All right. Couple other quick hits here before we get
Wait,
to
isn't
some.
he like married to like the smoking hot woman of Rachel Weisz?
I don't know.
I swear they're married. It's like,
Mm-mm.
how did you get fat?
Aaron,
Because he's
Aaron, look
fucking
at-
Daniel Craig.
Aaron says Daniel Craig looks like he just became a vegan. That's awesome, Aaron. Love it.
He's got to be getting ready for a role or something. That has to be what's going on there.
We can only hope. We can only hope. But all right, let's go to another quick hit here. As we had a couple noticeable deaths over the weekend. I think I actually had 3. Dr. Ruth was one of them. That's what I heard. And then we had this one, which anybody who grew up in the 90s remembers the show Beverly Hills 90210. We had the death of Shannon Doherty over the weekend from breast cancer, which Flash, did you watch any, did you see any Beverly Hills 90? I mean, this was kind of like a girl show back in the day, but do you have any memories of that show?
Never watched it.
Vaguely.
Yeah. She was a big deal for a good while. And anyway, she passed on from breast cancer, unfortunately, which, total bummer. She was obviously in Charmed as well, as pointed out. That was a big show on the WB. I recall that one really kind of taken off. Then we also had this crazy, but obviously not expected.
She was in Mallrats. That's right.
Yeah, she was.
That's where I know her from, is that movie.
Yeah. Then we had Richard Simmons also pass away, who was a fitness personality. And, obviously Richard Simmons was very flamboyant, for sure, to say the least. But he died at 76. There was a wellness check on him a few years ago because people were like, he's not doing very well. But he had a big show from 1980 to 84. He hosted the Richard Simmons Show, which hosted on personal health and fitness, and it won 4 daytime Emmys. It's all about. Then he had like the Sweating to the Oldies, man. Sweating to the Oldies was massive during the early 90s. I remember that being huge. And he talked about how his experience as an overweight child eventually put him down his path to fitness. He says, by the time I was 8 years old, I was 200 pounds. Uniforms couldn't fit. My father would sew inserts under my arms and my legs. As he got older, he turned to dangerous methods in an effort to keep his weight down. I learned how to throw up. And then I began taking 30 to 40 laxatives a day. And then I began starving for 2.5 months, just drinking water, and almost died. So, man, it's rough, man. He says, at the age of 16, a stranger helped turn Simmons' life around. Someone left a note on my car. It said, "Dear Richard, you're very funny, but fat people die young. Please don't die." So that's what helped turn him around, was that note on a car. So, but yeah, man, Richard Simmons, unfortunately, passing on. Blabs, yeah?
I don't don't know him, but that story of just a random note can change your whole perspective on life. That's awesome.
Flash, any thoughts on Richard Simmons passing on?
Sad. Didn't really watch his stuff, but I just from pop culture stuff,
Yes, pointed
seen
out
him around.
under the iceberg says that note is hate speech today. Right?
That's true.
Right.
Absolutely.
People would be extremely upset about that. All right, let's go to the video game space, and we now have the crossover that nobody asked for, and I don't think anybody wanted. Call of Duty is doing a crossover with WWE of all things. Flash, have you ever had any desire to run around murdering people as John Cena?
No, maybe as the Undertaker.
That would be very fitting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The Undertaker going through. We've seen a lot of weird crossovers in the Call of Duty space. Nicki Minaj, Snoop Dogg, Cheech and Chong, all come to mind immediately. Now they're definitely getting into this. I think this speaks. We've talked about this multiple times on the show, but the identity crisis that I feel Call of Duty currently has with itself as it's trying to compete with Fortnite while totally going away from this like awesome gritty world, like World War II or veteran themed game. Now you have John Cena running around. I don't know. This, as pointed out in the chat by several folks, this is like reeks of desperation. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Flash?
Yeah, I don't want to say Call of Duty is going to fail or anything because I just don't see it going down anytime soon. They're trying to be like Fortnite. That's what it feels like to me. Fortnite is the king of shooters now. No matter how you feel about it, it is what it is. And they're trying to get on that with bringing all these collaborations in. And I don't think that that's the same audience.
I agree. I think they're drastically different audiences. And I think Call of Duty's trying to bring in different audiences to be able to compete because they see Fortnite making, $4 billion a year.
Yeah.
Oh, Norm came back. He says, John Cena is locked to the Chinese faction. Nice bit right there. I love it. But yeah, this does seem very not on brand. And I think that if you were to talk to like the major brand ambassador for Call of Duty right now, or somebody who works at Activision, I don't know if they'd be able to tell you exactly what their brand is. I think if you would have asked them 5 years ago, they could have told you, but I don't think they can do that right now. We also saw like some anime Gundam. I think we saw Gundams.
Yeah, Gundam.
Like,
I'm a huge Gundam fan, and that is not going to get me to come back. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our cover story today, which is the launch of the Concord beta. Now, Concord is a game that was announced a while back. It was this is a game that has been just surrounded with controversy. It was announced in 2023, releasing in August 2024 for $40. And the beta was released. And if you recall, we talked about this a few weeks ago, but if you pre-order the game, you actually got additional keys to play the game with your friends. I think it was, Blab, you said it was 5 additional keys?
5, yes.
You got 5 additional keys to play with your friends. Well, unfortunately, nobody bought the game because over the weekend, the Steam charts for this thing, if you're going to have a beta, that's your opportunity to build some hype around this. Now, Flash, I don't know if you've seen this, but have you seen the player counts over the weekend for Concord? Flash.
Oh, am I here? Oh, you were breaking up. I don't know if it was me or you. Sorry. No, I didn't see the exact numbers. I just saw people laughing at it, so I assumed they were low. So
if let's play the Price is Right game. Here we are. What was the all-time peak for the Concord beta over the weekend, Flash? Fire away with a figure.
I'm gonna say 586.
586. Blabs, you've seen this, correct?
Yes, I can't vote.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Flash. You have gone over.
Whoa.
You have gone over. Unfortunately, the if you were playing the Price is Right game, you would have gone over by over almost 200 as the all-time peak for the Concord beta on Steam was 372.
Wow. That's Suicide Squad numbers 6 months later.
Yes.
I do want to point out that most people, though, who were playing it, from what I've seen, were playing on PlayStation, though. There is that to consider.
It is worth talking. It is worth mentioning that it is available on PlayStation. Yes.
We'll never know those numbers.
No, sadly.
Now,
I think you can kind of guesstimate, though, that it's probably not that high. I would say probably 1,000 people, maybe, and I'm being generous.
Well, Vera came in. Vera says, no, that's not right. It was 1,100. Well, according to Steam charts, that's where we're getting our data from. So, Vera, if you have something else, please let us know. Maybe that was via PlayStation or something that you saw. We're talking specifically about Steam. The one thing that when you actually look online, you will find that there was lots of the people who were playing it were sponsored in a major way. We're talking about Co-Carnage and Dan's Gaming. These are prominent YouTuber folks who are paid to play this stuff, and they, that's a pretty standard thing when it comes to the marketing of a game is them popping out and paying for some influencers to check it out. But this was a post from Grums a few days ago. This is leading into the open beta when it started. It says there was very little buzz. The game is so dead. They ignored the early criticism, brushed it off as white noise. Here's every single character on Concord. So here are the characters that we saw that are actually in the game. By the way, I was under the impression that this was a girl the entire time. This is actually a boy. I had no idea. I thought this was
burritos.
I guess. I don't know, man. Here you go. Vera says that Park Place has put up an article with the highest figures because the beta is over. The numbers of Steam charts now are not reporting correctly. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, 1,100 still very, very low when it comes to this.
That's low for a new game, like a new launch, and this is a PlayStation shooter, which we don't get very many of.
Yes, but let's check out this 43-second clip of all the characters here. See what everybody thinks.
Me and my crew.
It's a big hitbox.
And by the way, listen to the voice of this. The voice of this is very androgynous as well.
Me and my crew.
It kind of like has this like deep feminine voice,
It sounds like a femboy.
Right.
Watch your back. Right on target. Prudent choice.
Final. Too bad.
By the way, does Disney have a lawsuit on its hands with Star Child? I feel like it's very.
Is that Jason Perlman or whatever his name is? Ron Perlman, the actor?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Ron Perlman. You go ahead. Flash.
All of these characters are ugly.
Oh, yeah.
This is like DEI the shooter.
That was kind of the bit on this for sure. That's DEI the game. Yes.
Too bad.
Fight is one.
Yes, indeed.
On my mark.
The expert's on it.
That's
Is that Al Kiji turned into a woman? What is that?
Flash literally breaking down. Yeah, man. Yeah, need those.
That's like Al Kiji from One Piece. I swear.
Oh.
Pull up Al Kiji.
All right, let's see what we got here. Al Kiji.
I don't know how to spell it.
All right.
Marine. What was he? Like a general?
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I got you. Let's see. We got the difference here. Yeah, is this who you're talking about?
Yeah, that's him.
There you go. Yeah, definitely some references here. Well, let's continue. See what other awesome characters they had in this that really drew people in.
Right. Come on, let's go.
All right.
Why not?
I got
It's you.
I know. Yeah, like I kind of imagine her like Emery saying, "I got you." Nom 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 nom. It's like stuff like chomping down on a burger real quick.
It's you. Oh, hi.
Looks like a dumpster.
Yeah. Well, there you
It's
go.
a shame because it was an original video game, right? You want to go make something new. That'd be awesome. This is the best you come up with. And I researched it. They've been in development since 2018, unless the research was wrong, which is a long time to develop a game, and that's what you get.
Began development 2018.
Yeah, that's what I found. Now, I'm not sure if it's 100% correct because it was on, I found it in where to go, the PlayStation, like PlayStation Studios fandom.com, which is like a wiki thing. So I'm not 100% how accurate that is, but yeah, it was. Production began in 2018, announced in 2021, officially announced in 2023. I couldn't find a price, like how much it cost to make the game, but I'm assuming it was an overbloated budget.
Well, you know, we always talk about, like I said, I'm, and this was brought up by several people, the idea that this is a, people say, don't take our IPs, make your own, right? So they've done that. Now, unfortunately, it's going to fall flat on its face, right?
Yeah, that's the sad bit.
There's a double-edged sword to this, right? Because what you see is, you know, Disney recently came out. They're like, we're going to focus on sequels and existing IPs, and people are like, what? But the idea is that it's too risky to create new IPs, and I think that's what you're seeing with this. In that, especially when you have something
Is
as
it though? I mean, look at that. What's that game everyone's raving about? That's a looter shooter. The first
The first Descendant. I actually had that pulled up 2 seconds ago because I wanted to point out
It's a game, a bunch of fucking waifus, and everyone's going crazy about it.
Exactly. So all the guys I stream with have been playing this game, and the women are beautiful. They are gorgeous. They have boobs. These images don't really show it a whole lot, but there's a good one right there. Titties.
Maybe
like,
you
they're
don't
beautiful.
make. Maybe you don't make DEI ESG the focus, and try to just give people what they want, and you get this.
Yep.
Korea and Japan are going to smash everybody out of the business when this is all said and done, which is crazy if you think about it, because 10 years ago, Western developers were kind of on the top.
Oh yeah,
they flipped
absolutely.
it, and now it's flipping back.
And unless I'm not mistaken, First Descendant is free to play on Steam, whereas Concord is $40. So it's like, which one you gonna?
Yeah, I want to
pick, bro?
play this. I'm gonna download this, I think.
Yeah, I've been meaning to because the guys.
I just
got
got to find some people that play it.
Did I see something like this had 10 million people playing it or something? I thought I saw some sort of ridiculous number attached to it.
I have no idea. Look.
Yeah, please do. See what the First Descendants Steam chat looks like, or Steam numbers look like.
Is that on PlayStation? Can you play it on PlayStation?
I don't know. I'm
gonna get the Steam version, but is it on any of the consoles?
This is my first chance seeing gameplay of this, but I have seen the elements. Whoa! Holy moly! What, 158,000 people playing right now? Holy moly!
It's
That
very
is
popular. Then they seem to have fun. From what I've seen of the gameplay from the guys, it kind of looks like Destiny 2 mixed in with a little bit of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So at least they understood that mixing games can be a good idea as long as you actually do it right. Seems to be successful for them.
Well, I tell you, it looks like all the players who are playing Helldivers have moved over. Helldivers, currently still has 22,000 people. At its all-time peak, it had, almost 460,000 people. But it's funny because this is kind of one of those things that you're seeing this more and more with games where games have you saw this with Power World, Helldivers, these games where there's a very short, 22,000 people still playing your game is a lot of people, right? But there's a very tight window for success for these games, whether it's a month, whether it's 6 weeks, in some cases a couple weeks. And you wonder if that's going to happen with this, the First Descendant. game.
Yep.
But
I just checked. First Descendant, free on Steam, free to play. Meanwhile, Concord, 40 USD. Which you gonna pick?
well, apparently people are picking the free game for sure. So, all right, let's go to get some super chats. Then we're going to get into what happened over the weekend. Let's hit some of these larger ones on the way. Like Matthew came in. Says, Hot take, Conan the Barbarian is better than Lord of the Rings. Oh boy, Matthew. I'll tell you what, Blabs does not agree with you on that. But then again, she also hasn't seen...
I can't argue. I've not seen the movie. I am level-headed.
Good for you, Blabs. Silverado came in as a brand new member. Thank you very much, Silverado. Appreciate that greatly. That's excellent. Also, Matthew came in and says, hearing that Shannon Doherty died makes me worried for Olivia Munn because she also has the same disease or health condition. Oh, I did not know that. Huh. Man, that'd be a shame. Super Kitty Pogo Dance came in as a brand new member. Let's go, Super Kitty Pogo Dance. Appreciate that. And Norm came back. Says, Concord is proof that PlayStation fanboys paid $700 for an expensive box. Let's go. 90 Dragoons came in with the $15 direct donation. Says, Overwatch rode in on a tidal wave of hype in 2016. Concord is sliding down the pants of a wet fart in 2024. Gamers didn't change. Companies just changed who they're making games for. This is a product for nobody. Ooh, 90 Dragoons. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I 100% agree with you, man. I don't believe that gamers have changed over the years. I don't think that people have changed over the years. I think that the people making the games have wanted to instill things into those games. And that's something that I definitely agree with. Gizmo Hibiki came in with the 5. Says, Lee Harvey Oswald talking to the former shooter in hell like, lol, you got wrecked, noob. Line your shots too soon. We're going to get into that in just a minute. And Kinetic picked up the American Pride t-shirt. Thank you very much, Kinetic. Greatly appreciate that. Tech Support Gaming also came in with the 10. Says the Concord beta was a closed beta, so you only got in if you had a key. Open beta could look different. I find it funny. The one hot chick is Asian. Don't they say stop fetishizing Asian women? Yeah, you are correct, because the open beta is next week, and we'll see kind of what that looks like.
Craig's actually going to play it on his PlayStation.
Are you going to?
No, I don't have a PlayStation 5.
Oh, that's right. You before. Never mind.
Yeah, I play it on Steam, but I don't have a PlayStation 5.
You could have been like one of those Sony ponies and be like, it's amazing.
It's amazing. All right. So we're going to get into what happened over the weekend, because we haven't talked about this. We haven't been live since then. And before we get into all this insanity, I want to talk specifically about, this is a world event, not so much the politics of it, but talk about it from a world event perspective. And because I do think it's important that we do talk about this. And it's one of those things where, if this isn't for you, that's fine. That's cool. But I do think that you guys come to us to hear our thoughts on things. And, for us to just not talk about it, like a major world event, is something that I feel like we'd be doing you guys a disservice. But before we do, Blabs, you've pretty much said all you want to say about this when it comes to, on X. So, you're going to take a step back from the conversation, but just to kind of recap what Blabs tweeted out. That's from Darth Call. Says, if you find yourself excited at the prospect of a candidate you don't like getting assassinated, ask yourself the question, are we the baddies? And then you followed up with this right here. Says, what a difference. So with that said, this will be primarily myself and Flash having this conversation. So I think it's important, and I do want this to be obviously an open conversation, because there's 4 seats at this table. There's me, Blabs, Flash, and then you guys watching. But obviously this weekend was insane. It was a crazy event. We're still learning about everything that happened on Saturday. And I think this is one of those events where, when it comes to 9/11, where you were when it happened, right? I know exactly where I was. I can tell you exactly, literally where I was. I was in my car driving to school. I remember hearing it on the radio. I was listening to the radio and they were talking about it. And this will be a very similar situation. Flash, do you feel that way as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you doing when you heard all this?
Having dinner with my family.
Yeah.
Was at a pizza place.
Well, yeah, I was in Kansas City this weekend for a family reunion. And yeah, we were sitting down for dinner as well. And my phone starts blowing up. And generally I don't have my phone at dinner, but we're out at a restaurant. I just had it, in my pockets. My phone starts going off from like family texts, and it's kind of like, holy crap, what's happening? And like I said, I don't have X on my phone. I take pretty much all social media off my phone because it's just a sink for me. It's a time sink. It's a distraction on a day-to-day basis. So when I want to use social media, I physically come sit down here where we're at right now and post whatever it is from a computer as opposed to a phone. But this weekend was a little different because everything was materializing so quickly. And there's different perspectives of everything. But yeah, I mean, I definitely know exactly where I was. But to see the immediate response from this was really messy. And I said this earlier, I'm purposely not using terms because we're on YouTube, right? Because YouTube is known for censoring things. But the response to this was all over the place. We saw, this is coming from tweet you had, Flash. Grace Randolph, who is a movie reviewer over on X, she said this is getting insane in every possible way. I don't want to talk politics anymore, as this is getting very serious no matter what happened. And then, she could have like just stopped right there, but then she continued to talk politics.
Yeah.
And said, no matter
deleted
who,
this too.
She did. Yes, she did. She later went on and deleted this after kind of like, what are you doing? Right. And then I thought probably one of the most insane takes over the weekend was David Jaffe and what was going on with him. Did you see this, Flash, with David Jaffe?
Yes, I did. I wasn't surprised by it.
I agree. And he has yet to delete it.
I think he tries to act like he's in the middle, but he's very disingenuous.
I can't see in any way, shape, or form where David Jaffe could be considered in the middle.
Yeah,
I mean,
he acts like he is, though. He tries to.
When you have a kid and you've done such a poor job parenting that your kid doesn't even want to be the sex it was born, like, I'm just saying, come on now. Like, and you embrace that. Come on. We've had David on the show before. We had a pretty good conversation, but that doesn't mean he's not just an absolute loony bin of insanity. So he came out, and the immediate response was he thought the whole thing was staged. And it's important to remember that somebody died. A father died, got shot in the head while just attending a rally for somebody that they like. So the idea of this whole thing being staged is, I mean, so off the wall crazy. But he came out and said, yes, I'm serious. That is all. This person says, yeah, let's stage getting shot in the ear. Right. And the idea of being shot in the ear, I have zero idea how people could potentially think this was a thing, that somebody is such a good shot that they could shoot him in the ear when in real time you can see him turn and narrowly miss getting hit.
It's the closest thing to a miracle that I think I've ever seen.
When you watch it
by an inch, just that it's wild.
Right. And I saw this tweet, and I think this really kind of puts it in perspective. This idea that, like, this is insane. This happens in, as it says, 5/100ths of a second. So I don't understand how anybody could potentially say this is staged. But David Jaffe continues. He says, yes, I'm serious. That seems odd. And Trump gonna Trump. He's a TV star and drama queen. And the Secret Service seems to have responded very weirdly post-shooting, which, like I said, I don't really want to get into it's the details of all this. I more so want to talk about the reaction from people on this. So I'm also serious that I would never want anyone to be shot or assassinated, no matter how much I dislike them. Two things can be true, but you can think that something can be staged, which
this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. People saying that this is staged. There's a man dead,
right,
and two people, I think, still in critical condition, or are they better? I haven't seen anything on that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure he voluntarily died to stage this. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Well, everyone's favorite social media Kotaku blogger came out, and you saw this a lot, where there was immediate reaction and then deletion of those posts. But the internet is forever, and Alyssa Mercante came out with trying to be super funny. The stormtrooper aiming, the Trump shooter revealed. Right there we are. Obviously, once again, it being deleted down here. But she continued. Says, turns out guns are bad, and the current political climate is bad, and it's all bad. And why do we even bother? And then she goes into the Palestine thing, and it's like, there's a time and place for stuff like this, and that's the crazy thing about this, is the absolute tone deaf nature of this. I don't care if it's an assassination, an attempt on Trump. I don't care if it's an attempt on Biden. I don't care if it's an attempt on Kennedy. I don't care if it's an attempt on Mercante. There's a time and place for these types of comments. And that's not the time, man. And you saw this so much over the weekend. The idea of, well, if they just missed, or how could you miss? That is so unbelievably insane to me. That's the first thing that you thought. Like, I understand the idea of, hey, I want to be edgy, right? Go be edgy. Do your edginess. Great. But once again, time and place.
Do you want to pull up that GoFundMe for the families that got affected? It's at like $4 million. Wow. I think.
Well,
I donated to it earlier today.
Go ahead and continue with what you were saying, though, about this, like the idea of what you're saying about the family and the $4 million.
I think it's great. And, it's sad. I'm sure these people would rather have their family back than $4 million, but it's something that helps. It's tragedy. And to see people celebrating it really fucking pisses me off. And it's the usual suspects, all of them out there, all these Hollywood people showing their true colors, like Jack Black out there. He had to have said it either Sunday or Saturday night, talking about, don't miss next time.
Well,
total
you're right.
disregard for a dead man that died protecting his father. Something Jack Black will probably never be.
Well, here is Tenacious D, which, once again, funny, right? But this certainly isn't. This is at their concert here.
Don't miss Trump next time.
So it actually wasn't Jack Black. It was Kyle, the other guy who said it, to be clear. So they're doing some sort of like birthday celebration. Listen to the applause.
He's still laughing and enjoying it. He's just as TDS crazy as everybody else. He was doing a big speech for Biden. This is the first time he came out and did anything when he was at that Biden fundraiser. He had that clip that went viral. Well, probably forced viral because they all control the algorithm. So they probably just pushed that clip.
It's the thing it's not that he said it, right? Once again, people going to be edgy, right? They're going to be edgy. It's once again, for me, it's the response to this, the crowd's response.
Trump next time.
Ha 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 ha. It's so funny. It's so funny that a person nearly died. And I think that's been the other thing about this is you've seen people respond, well, like he just got hit in the ear. Big deal. It's like, no. Once again, you're talking about a fraction of an inch.
They tried to kill him.
Yes. He just got hit in the ear. Big deal. Big deal. Like, once again, would you be saying the same thing? Flip it. If Joe Biden just got hit in the ear, would you be saying that? Or Kennedy, or Alyssa Mercante, or me, or anybody? He just got hit in the ear. Like, what? Does that make any sense to anybody at all? Now I'll say this. This one hit home, man. This one hit home for me. And this is courtesy of Keemstar. He said, I think it's important to screenshot these evil people. Every American, it's our duty. And once again, this is people trying to be edgy. And the reason why this one hit home is because I know this person. This comes from a guy named Adam Shub. He goes by Square Painter. And I've known Adam for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And I obviously haven't spoken to him in a long time. And, as things should be, right? Like we never discussed politics. So what Adam does, as his handle would indicate, is that he creates pixel art. Now, and I have some of his art, but realistically, it's other people's art that he recreates on a canvas, right? But he put this out. He said, "I'm voting for the bullet," and it's like,
who is that? Who is that guy? I showed that on Saturday, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
I don't know who that guy is.
He's an artist. He's an artist. Yeah, he's an artist who does pixel art. So, like I said, I've known him, talking to him many times. We had him out at at events and stuff, and it's just like here's a good example of like what he does on a day-to-day basis. This is kind of like what he commissions, right? So he makes like little pixel art. So, and you see, he's posting these things and he's getting destroyed from it. Just constant, from people on the side. But I understand the people's need to feel edgy and be the edgelord. But it's like you really time and place. And I feel like that's something that really showed over the weekend was the rush to be a reactionary and the rush to kind of for clout. And that's the one thing, like when you see Mercante tweet that stuff out, when you see this, Square Painter tweet that stuff out, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for likes. They're looking for, hey, look at me. I'm edgy. Look at how funny I am. Look at how fun, instead of just like being able to take things, observe it, and being able to digest the data as it's coming in without having our feeling the need to go, blah, 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 right? And I understand it's hard. It's hard, man. And as Roddy says, man, so many people pulled off their veils this weekend, right? They're just horrible, mean people, horrible people. Thanks, Flash, for that. Here is, by the way, here is the GoFundMe for, and once again, I don't know who set this up, Meredith O'Rourke. And that's where I'm always like a little like, when it comes to this stuff, you don't know who these people are. But this has currently raised $4 million for the person who died. And you see the recent donations, $50,000 from Rick and Ann Scott. $50,000. Raised $4 million so far for the person who passed away, getting shot in the head. But we're not done with the insanity from the response here. This is from Grums. And once again, Grums is kind of like the, he's compared himself to like the libs of TikTok of the gaming space, just calling people out. This is a brand ambassador for Smite, and their name is Tempest Teacup. They have since locked their tweets. Says they Tempest Teacup encouraged Trump shooter to try again since taken down and defends her beliefs with that the assassination attempt was fake. And when I went to check her page, she already had me pre-blocked prior to it. This was her tweet. If at first you don't succeed, right? So there we go. And once again, she is of the mindset. So this is so staged, and it's going to be very effective. To be clear, I absolutely believe the target of today's shooting would sacrifice his own supporters to further his candidacy. Well, this is how broken these people are. Like the idea that, what she's saying, to be clear, to be 100% clear, I absolutely believe to the target of today's shooting, Trump, would sacrifice his own supporters to further his candidacy. I think that is the ultimate tragedy behind the Trump grift. He doesn't care about the people who have made him who he is. And there we go. At the time I made the initial tweet, I had seen that no one was seriously injured in the shooting. Knowing now that 2 died, I regret using flippant language. But I do not believe it is wrong to speculate that the potential political implications of an assassination attempt.
Well, you've been calling for it for 4 years.
Right.
More than that, actually. Fucking people disgust me. It's Hollywood, gaming programmers, the entire entertainment industry. They've been calling for it for 8 fucking years.
To further that, we have this this compilation of people talking about the violence, calling for violence of a presidential candidate, specifically Trump. It's from Breitbart. So he's shooting Trump. This is Snoop Dogg shooting Trump in the head for a music video. Kathy Griffin, of course, this one from back in the day, right? I'm interested to see kind of her response to this. Robert De Niro, want to punch him in the face. Madonna, I thought about the White House, right? Bette Midler, who has been nuts. Barbara Streisand, talking about Pelosi literally impaling him. Johnny Depp.
That's a stain on him.
Right. Deborah Messing, Jim Carrey, like go down the line, right? George Lopez, right? So the idea that this hasn't been a constant reoccurring theme is crazy to me. And whether it's the entertainment space or the gaming space, once again, you have these people who are in these hive minds. They are in these bubbles, and they don't see what's happening in the real world. They don't see it. They don't see the thousands of people that showed up in an open field to go see this guy speak. They don't see the millions of people who believe in his message. And it's I will say this, man. And when it comes to everything that's happened, that picture of him, I saw somebody speak about this. When it comes to what happened and the timing of this, everything happened very quick. You had about a 20-second window where these shots ring out. He gets hit, realizes he gets hit, goes down, gets covered by the secret, whatever it's called, and Secret Service. And in doing so, people, the question was, why is he sticking his head out? Afterwards, he gets up and he said, he's like, fight, right? People ask, why did he do that? Well, if you watch the audio of that, or if you watch the video and you listen to the audio, you hear the Secret Service say the suspect or the shooter is down, or whatever language they use, right? So at this point, Trump hears this in his head, and hears this. He knows that he's safe, which is why he's sticking his head out, saying, fight, fight, fight. Well, let's back up even further. This guy just got shot. He knows he's been shot. He sees the blood. He doesn't know that he is safe from the wound itself. And the fact that he stands up and has
I'm sorry to cut you off, but he got shot twice because there's a hole in his shirt. Like, he's wearing armor. He's got a bulletproof vest on. There's a hole. I can see if I can find it, but there's a hole in his shirt, a bullet hole. He got hit twice. He got hit in the ear, and he also got hit on his jacket. So that pierced his armor. I mean, the picture, the guy's rich. He's not going to run around with a hole in his
Right.
a bullet hole in his jacket. It has to be real. I don't think they've talked about it, but I mean, the picture is out there. I can try and find it.
No, I've seen the picture, but I wasn't sure if it had been confirmed or not. Right. But the idea that he's bleeding, he stands up, and once again, he could have been this could have been considerably worse, right? It nicks his ear, and he could have, at this point, he has not checked his face. He, like, a piece of his skull could have been ripped off, whatever, right? But he has the wherewithal, and it could be literally the last thing he says. Like, he could be dying because he's got adrenaline flowing through his body at this point. He is amped up, adrenaline going nuts. He stands up and he says, "Fight." And he's standing up, pumping his fist in front of people. And that could have been like the last thing that people saw from him, right? Like, because he could have been wounded, right? For all we know, he may have been shot somewhere else. He may not know, because he has this adrenaline pumping through his body at this time, right? And if that was like the last thing that people saw of him, I mean, holy crap. This has been said many, many times. The idea that he stood up, had the wherewithal to do this, but had he not moved his head at that exact moment, the world's changed in the last 48 hours, but the world would be the United States would be an entirely different space today than it would be right now, had he not moved his head. And I'm legit. It's crazy to think about how much the world would have changed had he not shifted his head at that exact same second, at that exact same time. And by whatever intervention that happened, it's almost scary to think about.
You'd have seen riots.
And the fact that not a single riot happened after this, I think says more than anything, right? That nothing happened after this. No one burned anything down. Nobody looted. Nobody, like, people waited for the fact. They're waiting for more information before a response, right? And you're right. I think that cities would have burned. I think that it's scary to think what would have happened if that would have hit. And, so Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, he's over at the convention. And, he said, I think his D-Day Cobra channel is going to just blow up, because that's what he talks about. He talks about Trump and everything like that leading up to this. But he's been like, look, the next few months are going to be crazy. I don't think anybody anticipated the idea that of just how crazy this would be. And we still have months leading up to this. And for me, I think it really comes down to this. You have one side that is praying that the other side's candidate makes it to the election. And then you have the other side that's literally trying to kill the other side's candidate to not make it to the election. And that's insane to me. I mean, it's very clear, as pointed out in the chat, that Secret Service failed dramatically,
big time,
in the situation.
We've been trying to look at that from Street View. We were doing that on Saturday, and how they don't see that guy. Like, there's allegations that Secret Service said don't take the shot. I don't know if that's true or not, right? But somebody screwed up. Why there was not a cop or somebody over on that building is mind-blowing to me. I also have that picture pulled up. People are saying it's a fold in the jacket. I don't know if that's true. Like, I'm just looking at the evidence myself. If you want to pull this up,
sure,
for that bullet hole.
Yeah,
it's nothing that's going to get you in trouble.
Okay. Well, here it is right here. Here's the picture that we saw. So it appears there's a bullet hole in Trump's jacket. Like I said, it's all all speculation at this point, and maybe that's a fold, whatever it may be, or a shadow or something.
There's more pictures down if you pull them up.
Okay.
With different coloring.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, hey, this is crazy to think about. But like I said, the world has changed.
It's not confirmed, to be fair, but it's everything about this is suspect. And you know what? People arguing about this is a good point to even bring up, because who do we trust for the official confirmation? The FBI, the same people that raided Mar-a-Lago, the people that have been up his ass. We're supposed to believe the people right under Biden, who recently said that he needs to be put in a bullseye.
You know, I said when we started the show, this is a show that I was both excited for and also kind of dreading, right? Because
I don't trust the government, and I don't trust mainstream media at all.
I agree.
Did you see how they were reporting on this, where they were saying he ran off stage because of loud noises? Trump fell and was taken off stage. It's a real fucking headline from CNN.
Yeah.
I don't trust any of these people.
Yeah.
And they did that to themselves.
Well, and the idea now that it's time to calm things down, right? Like, okay, you know, it's like somebody walking up and slapping you and being like, whoa, just relax. You know, they slap the shit out of you and then they go, no, just relax, man, just relax. And I understand. I understand why people would be so heated about this. You know, this is one of those events that you're going to remember exactly where you were.
Pull this up.
What's that? Oh, okay, gotcha. But from a, let's see, what do we got here? Oh, yes. Thank God Elon bought Twitter, huh? Yeah. And
it should take you to, no, that's not it. Hold on.
Well, this does have a bunch of all the headlines. Is that what we're looking at?
A bookmark that I made, but specifically this. Yep, there it is. Yep.
But yeah,
real headlines.
Yeah. And that's
supposed to trust these people.
And maybe this is just me being totally ignorant and wanting to believe that these people are good people, right? Because a lot of information's coming quick.
They're not.
But I don't understand that.
You don't hate these people enough.
I know. And this is me. I get it, right? I want to see good in people, right? But you know, and I'm trying to process everything here. The idea that this is happening 6 minutes ago, but at the same time, like, how do you watch that? You're watching the stream in real time. You're watching this in real time as it's happening. You hear these things happening. You see the blood.
It took them 6 hours to call it an assassination attempt. And there's I don't know if it was real or not, but somebody leaked out what they were telling their reporters to say, and one of it was don't use assassination. Don't use that wording.
Yeah. Safe after popping sound at rally. Okay. Yeah, I mean, what are we even doing? You know, and I agree with you. I totally agree with you, you know, and this is just me being a total asshole, because I want to believe these people are good people. But the reality is that they have an agenda, and you saw this in real time happening, and it hurts, man. It hurts to know that's how like messed up everything is, whether it's the media, whether it's people's responses to it, whether it's in the video game world, the entertainment world, or the mainstream media world. It hurts. It hurts that people are like this, and that you could champion the idea that somebody nearly died, and by the grace of God, they didn't get shot in the head by a fraction of a second, by the fraction of an inch. And the idea that you would cheer that on is just insane to me. And I would like to think that like I said, if the same thing happened, now look, I'm not ignorant in that I don't think that if it happened to Joe Biden, there wouldn't be edgelords out there making stupid comments like that, right? But I would like to think that people would at least take a second and try to ingest some of the data that's happening. Which, going back to this Elon and X, like, thank God that Elon Musk bought X, because there is a 0% chance that we would have seen that story as it was happening on the old version of X. Think about how sanitized that story would have been and would continue to be if it was under the previous leadership. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe it.
Did you see what was trending when that happened? One job.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things. I'll get it for you. Give me a second.
No, yeah, I hear that. You know, the idea of, you had one job. You had, how could you miss, right? What a mess. What a mess. And like I said, I think that's the biggest thing for me is it's just really disheartening. And the idea that it goes back to, these are the people in your industry that are so broken, that hate somebody so much that they're rooting for his death, that they're upset that he didn't die. That's fucked up. And I feel sorry for them that their lives are so consumed with so much hate that they can't move past it. And I think that's, it's just an even more sobering, eye-opening moment when it comes to this stuff. So, well, there we go. What do we got here? What is this? Oh, yes, the responses here, the things that were trending. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here we go. This is what we had. That was trending here. How do you miss? They missed. One job. Shooter. What a joke. What a joke. Once again, it's only going to get crazier, man. It's only going to get crazier. And if there's one thing that has been, you've seen the response from people, the idea that it's almost polarized people more, right? You've seen some people who've seen what's happening, and they are they were kind of on the fence of things, or they had voted a certain way in the past, but after this they've totally jumped over to the other side, and they're like, look, I can't stand this anymore. You have seen a swell of people be more vocal after this, and once again it goes back to the idea that they better start carrying more hot sauce around, because the black vote is pretty much moving towards Trump now, and it's been that way for a while. And it's nice to see finally people waking up to a lot of the bullshit. Well,
watching him get railroaded by the legal system really hit home, and now seeing him almost get killed hits home. So that's a crucial vote. Well, then you have, I don't even want to get into what Destiny was saying. Like, what an idiot. I don't even want to get into that. But, I did tweet this out. You're speaking of like the black vote, right? This has since been deleted, but I don't know how you can look at this and like, please just, I said this on X. I said, please walk me through this and tell me how this just isn't insanely racist, right? Will surviving gunfire be Donald Trump's next appeal to black voters? How unbelievably racist is that? I don't understand how you can get past that. What a joke. What a joke. There was some I don't even want to talk about him. An old business partner being a fucking idiot who's just filled with, people talk about disinformation and everything. Like, what a fucking imbecile. I'm going to say this. Just Sean Boland's a fucking idiot. That's all. All right. Well, you got anything to close it out? It's disgusting. But the one good thing to come out of this is, I think, finally a lot of people are waking up. I saw a lot of posts on Twitter. One of them from this woman who graduated with I think a gender study degree, and all this shit has flipped her. And she's talking about how she's voting Trump now, and how back in 2012 or whenever it was that she graduated, she considers herself an idiot.
People asking about, like, how about Dev Short Prairie Talk? I have not followed what he said about this whole thing. I don't know. So
he was posting some wild shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen any of his stuff. So like I said, I've tried to be as connected while still being as unconnected as I possibly could over the last, day or so, because this is exhausting, and this is only going to get more exhausting as we go. I can't imagine wanting to be in politics and like living in that life, because we're talking about games and entertainment on a day-to-day basis, right? And when the Venn diagram crosses over, right, and you have a world event like this, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And I think, it goes back to, I, like so many people, have never been political people by any means, but you see the nonsense that's happening on a day-to-day basis, and you're like, yeah, that's not right. That's dumb. But what's going on with this? This doesn't make any sense. There's this line of demarcation for a lot of people. And I think that what happened Saturday will be a line of demarcation for even more people when it comes to all this stuff. All right. Let's go to some super chats. Appreciate all your support today, guys. Thank you very much. You guys have been spectacular, and we're going to read every single one. I'm sure you guys have a lot to say. And we have a lot of direct donations as well. Thank you guys very much for those. It's your boy, Nate, came in and picked up the American Pride t-shirt. Once again, I encourage you guys to go pick that up. It's still available for you guys. We'll have a new design soon. But Blabs, let's fire off with some super chats here.
I was muted. Okay. St. G says, remember that Kyle Reese is part of Gen Z? Thank you. Oh, here we go. Here's the Blabs. Hey, Norm says, Blabs is not a normal man. No, I'm a normal woman. Thank you very much. D-Day says, what?
One or two comments is not hate. It's okay.
Oh, well, I was being sarcastic because this is D-Day, and he's actually a friend, so it's fine. Okay. D-Day says, Blabs is shit, and D-Day's a slut, so that's okay. Joe says, hashtag fire, Blabs.
This is all over Arnold, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Miner says, Blabs is so disappointed. I thought you was cool.
Thought you were cool, Blabs.
You was. Matt says, True Love is an American classic, and Blabs should feel bad for not seeing it. I don't. I'm sorry. Don't feel bad. Grumpy Sniper says, my wife is the same. Only Arnold movie she has seen is Jingle All the Way. This has to change. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a woman's thing. Anime Core 85 says, Spaceballs is better than Kindergarten Cop. Absolutely Rudy says, squints eyes and holds my tongue about Blabs. Kratos says, Jingle All the Way is one of the best Christmas movies out there. I think you need to watch more movies on Christmas.
No.
Juan DeLorean. That's funny. Juan DeLorean says, Blabskate. Thank you. Shane says, the villain in Kindergarten Cop is from my home city, Mobile, Alabama.
Let's go.
Javi says, we're Arnold fans. What killed the dinosaurs? Thank you. Prime of 2 says, Commando equals Taken, but awesome, funny, and badass. Thank you. Maximus says, let off some steam, Bennett. Thank you. Maximus says, no more Mr. Kimball. I have to go to the bathroom. Bird Flu, that's a great name, says, see you at the party, Blabs. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Is that party? Like an accent? Is that it?
Party.
Thank you. Miner says, Flash watched any more One Piece this weekend?
I did. I'm on episode 868, something like that. I'm almost at the end of Whole Cake Island, like a couple episodes away.
You're out of the house says, reminds me of that ventral harassment Duke Nukem. Defender X says, you guys need to check out the Western Arnold was in. It's called The Villain with Kirk Douglas.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Rebound says, moderation of speech without the knowledge of the user should be illegal. Shadow banning and limiting reach is the most Machiavellian tool big tech has. I agree with that. Rex Rice says, one person came and walked 3 steps without help. The other goes golfing after being pew-pewed at. There is no comparison. Thank you. Let's see. Did Dan Craig go vegan, or is he playing Crazy Cat Lady in the upcoming movie? That's funny. I like this one. Craig thinks about men's body a little too much. How's Jake Gyllenhaal these days?
She's doing great. You guys want to see him?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Well, here he is anyway.
Hang tight. Hold on.
Winterfell says Pauly Shore playing him a biopic. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that. He is. Pauly Shore is playing Richard Simmons in an upcoming biopic.
It's great casting.
Richard Simmons, when he was on Whose Line, was so funny. Whose Line is a funny show. Textbook Gaming says, remember when video games were just video games and didn't cross over and collab with everything? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I so agree.
By the way, here's Jake Gyllenhaal for you. Jesus, what a stud.
Javi says, Concord, you mean Crown Fortress or Overwoke, I should say. That's funny. Uriah says, Craig, look up the first Descendant numbers compared to Conqueror's numbers on Steam. We did. It's crazy. Thank you. Gear says, too much hamburger. Thank you. David says, characters in Concord feel like what you get when you pick the random option RPG character creator.
Right.
Dorana says, hope the budget was higher than Hyenas. Peak Sony. Yeah, I'm really curious about the budget for Concord. I wonder when they'll release it, if they do. Simodius says, PC had a lot of frame rate problems with the beta. I was checking out the Twitter timeline. There was a whole bunch of things. Space Digger says, all characters in Concord have pronouns in-game. Yes, they do. Nathan says, as a Conan book fan, the movies did the character dirty. Worse than anything Lord of the Rings bookworms whine about. Still, I love the what is best in life line.
That's a common criticism, and I say fair, but that first Conan movie is fucking awesome.
And Mastagawa says, for 5, says, Descendant is like Destiny with pretty women. I like that you go down to the map and are randomly joined by people cross-playing from different platforms.
All right, I'll take it from here. Punishment came in and says, let's not forget a father shielded his family and lost his life saving them. It's a shame people will probably drag his name in the dirt for nothing more than taking his family to a political event. Correct. Miku came in and says, I told you months ago they would Jeff Dawn.
If only those people mocking him had a father that loved them like he loved his family.
Hear that, man. Family first. Well, why would he agree? He got domed by Secret Service. Gear came in and says, what's the point for the plaintiff to shut down their opposing defendant? What's the point for the plaintiff to shut down their opposing defendant dead? It's so off since the Boeing versus Barnett. Okay. Thank you, Gear. Appreciate that. That's a lot for me to read. Mika says, these are the first people to screech compassion. Right. You see that quite a bit. I'm the Icarus came in and says, it's sad that things have gotten to this in the country. The response from a lot of people has been eye-opening and disheartening. Many people are so full of hate, bummer, and not normal man behavior. Correct. I just saw this tweet and it freaking nailed it. The idea that it's very easy. And this is from Zuby. He says, it's getting easier to tell the good guys from the bad guys. And that's good. Yes, there's a lot of truth in that. Norm came in and says, it's revealing that Jaffe types think the facts that someone dying is staged. It makes you wonder what lengths they're willing to go to advance their position. Thanks, Norm. Brady came in and says, I was watching Kirsta's stream when it happened. She started to cover it. It's surreal to see something and just know that you saw a historical moment. Yeah, Kirsha was definitely covering. I saw lots of tweets from her. The crazy fox lady. Mr. Hardcore Mode says, anyone who thinks this is staged is a moron. I watch NCIS, Law and Order, and all my life, and the security was weird. Thanks, Mr. Hardcore. Miku came in and says, a wife and daughter saw their dad and husband get offed in the most awful way. These people are laughing. These people are laughing, and they will talk about rights. Thanks, Miku.
They never had a father that loved them.
There's a lot of daddy issues in the video game world. I'll tell you that right now. Master Gawa says 45 should run on the platform of Revenge 2024. I think that's a losing proposition. I think he actually has a tremendous opportunity here. But Matthew says, with the massive $50 super chat, Matthew, thank you very much for that. That's incredibly generous. Says, why do they hate him so much? Look at that. There we go. Says, why do they hate him so much? Does he bring to the table that makes them all afraid of him? It is that he'll take money away. Is it that he'll take money away from them or something? Or is it something else? If anything, they would get more jobs. They would make more money under him. TDS is weird to me. I think that's a worthy conversation to have, not on this channel, but like the where did he touch you conversation, you know? Because there's a lot of that, man. There's a lot of that. Jason says Meredith O'Rourke is a Florida national treasure for the fundraising company who set it up on behalf of T-Man per Fox and USA. T-Man is censored. Oh, Trump man. Okay, got it. Thanks, Jason. JM says he didn't know he was saved. He knew there could be another. He knew there could be another person. He would ZZZ for his message, and that's admirable. Oh, you would sleep. Yeah, right. Thanks, JM. Appreciate that. Vissy came in with the something monies. Thank you very much. So since Kirsha have been a guest on Side Shows multiple times and is part of the VTuber community, she has posted multiple examples of other VTubers also dropping the veil after the shooting, after the event, showing how they really felt. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the veil and the masks have been slipping off. Not slipping off, man. They've been flying off. Hypnotic and Rapture came in and says Kirsha called out Tricky in their non-apology. I did see that. Elsid came in and says, has anyone brought up Dev, a.k.a. Shortfat Otaku, also letting the veil drop and justifying the death of an innocent bystander? Sorry, I'm showing up late. I haven't seen it, if I'm being totally honest with you. So thank you, Elsid.
It's not quite as bad as Destiny, but he did at least apologize.
Javi said, fear-mongering leads to hate-mongering. Andrew says, Baron almost lost his father. Nico says, the entire left is Anakin going, I hate you.
True.
Grumpy Rat says, why don't you ask Dev if it was really both sides at fault? The mask slipped real hard. Well, maybe we'll have an opportunity to do that, Grumpy Rat. Demio says, these people are not joking, just posting L's. Typical Twitter users. Thank you, Gear. Newt says, I was in the middle of a 6-hour D&D combat, saw the notification for the quarterings video, didn't say anything because my party member has TDS. Should I? I mean, if there's ever been a time to be honest with people, probably right now, you know. Samurai Knight says, we all know this was their Hail Mary before the RNC. Dean came in and says, there were a bunch of info coming forward about the gunman too. He was messed in the head and bullied a lot. It was unreal. I'm the actor says, destiny equals poo-poo. Buddy Dude came in and says, the craziness makes me glad I'm just a normal man. That's right. That's all we're looking for here. Sean says, hail side scrollers. Well, all the craziness happened this week in my hometown here in northern Illinois. Got hit by a 4.0 earthquake this morning. In Illinois? What's going on in Illinois? That's crazy. Goji came in and says, I'm in Minnesota, and you can't go anywhere here without someone talking about that Jingle All the Way was filmed here. Great movie. Did you know it was filmed here? I do now. Thanks, Goji. Appreciate that. Master Gawa says, please find and read Sean Hyde's Sam Hyde quote that begins, when we win, do not forget about that these people want. Truer words never been said, but can't be typed here. Have you seen that, Flash?
What Sam Hyde said? No, I
yeah.
didn't.
I didn't either. Taker came in and says, I think the action for Torben was legally bored on set and wanted to go home, and that's the motivation headline wrote for his character. Is that a reference to the Alec Baldwin thing?
What Torben? What was it?
I don't Adrian says they don't hate him. They hate you. Thanks, Adrian. Miku says yesterday the Mighty Magiswords creator got arrested for being a PDF file. Ugh. He was stupid enough to have stuff on a Google Drive account. Oh my God. Javi says party of tolerance. That's the real joke. Thanks, Javi. The Director Nations Varian came in and says internet personalities are absolutely disgusting over this. I've been a Trump guy since 2016, and I'd never want this to happen to Biden, Harris, AOC, Clinton, or anyone. Confront ideas, not people. Stay safe in these interesting times all. God bless. Thanks, Baron. Appreciate that. Zion42 says the father who left, the father who fell was a true hero by putting the lives of his family first, getting his wife and daughter to the floor of the bleachers and covering them with his body. Speaks volumes of his selfless love and how we should all strive to be. Mercenary
what's
came
built
in
into true men.
Yeah. Mercenary came in and says, I'm sorry, but the evidence that I've seen tells me that this was absolutely orchestrated. It's more than just some lone gunman. Given the lapse in security that this was encouraged. I've been warning about this, and it's going to escalate. This was desperate. Thanks, Mercenary. Gizmo Hibiki says Trump had a Teddy Roosevelt moment, like miss me, bitch. Mercenary came back, says if this is not a lone wolf, as I suspect, but someone who was helped, it's only going to escalate, and I'm begging for cooler heads and praying for intervention because we just saw somebody callously shoot at Trump with a crowd behind him. Collateral damage, right? Delta came in and says that the thing that bothers me was, well, people mock Pelosi, George Floyd. I'm not against jokes or making fun of Trump, but you lose me when you try justifying an innocent man losing his life. Hence why I say I put Dev on ignore until later. Thanks, Delta. John says, CNN headline, JFK ruins wife dress in Dallas. Thanks, John. Commodore Fan says 5 says, if it's a crook doing crime, then and they're popped, that's karma. But trying to kill someone and wishing death over political beliefs that truly hasn't done Hitler level of bad things is just wrong on all levels, no matter who you support. Stay cool, folks. Thanks. And Mercenary picked up the American Pride hat. Says, I'm getting an extra shirt because I'm not letting these people who want us gone permanently to win. Thanks, Mercenary. Appreciate that. Over on Rumble, you guys have been great over there too. Says CG Hero says, just once I like to hear Craig be honest and say it's a slow news day. He doesn't think he can fill a whole show. Just kidding. Probably not on a day like today. That is correct, CG Hero. Appreciate that. I think we'll always have stuff to talk about. Always. Jared says, check out the new Trump parody song by Dambit on YouTube. Thanks, Jared. Appreciate that. Mighty Megatron says, ask Blabs, what is best in life? And if she can't answer it, fire her. I will not. Blabs, you're here. You don't get fired. Jared says, Blabs, I haven't seen too many of Arnold's movie either, but if there was to choose a favorite movie of his, it would be Eraser. Thanks, Jared. Appreciate that. Jared followed up and says, I'm not a huge Daniel Craig fan, but he's the best Bond in my opinion, with Skyfall being my favorite.
Disagree 100%.
Came in and says,
he's an okay Bond. But he can't be the true Bond. He can't be the real Bond because they've nerfed Bond. The real Bond is a womanizer. Yes.
Yeah.
He's not a simp and sits there and cries about the same woman for 3 movies. That's it.
Ehab says, it would have started a civil war. When BLM burned down cities and deleted 25 people, I spoke out against it, despite the fact that the people deleted would probably disagree with me on everything. Thanks, Ehab. Siver says, they don't see them as people. They see them as Nazis. They have othered them. They don't realize they do the same as those they demonize. The iron law of woke projection. Joey came in with the $20 Rumble rant. Says, regardless of what you may think of Trump's policies, the assassination attempt was an attack on everything the U.S. is supposed to stand for. An innocent man died protecting his family. Thanks, Joey. And Siver came back, says, it's easy for commies to be horrific people. Greed and envy are powerful enemies, are powerful emotions. Not to mention, when you add race and sex to Marxist concepts, they are who they project onto others. Thank you, Silver. Appreciate that. Javi says, came in with that. Dean came in and says, Arnold was also in a movie with Jackie Chan where he played the villain. It was really funny. Iron Mask. I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't think I have either.
Upus came in and says, let cooler heads prevail, and I hope this doesn't become a trend.
Tell that to the left.
And we have a locals tip from Just G for $1 saying men have penises and women have vaginas. My dad's a gynecologist.
That's a reference from?
I'm guessing kindergarten.
That's right, Kindergarten Cop. That's right. It'd be seen as transphobic today. Nah, it's swinging back. All right, speaking of swinging back, let's go. All right, we got to get out of here now, guys. Thank you very much for popping in. I appreciate y'all allowing us to speak on this stuff. Like I said, I feel like had we not had this discussion today, you guys would be like, why didn't you guys talk about it? And it'd be like really kind of silly. But, when things cross over and when the Venn diagram of all this stuff crosses over, I feel like it's important. And when there's world events, I don't think we should shy away from talking about them. But I appreciate y'all popping in. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate you providing us the trust to talk about this stuff. Legit means a lot to me, and I know that that's a privilege that a lot of people don't have. I don't like to use the word privilege very often, but I do think it is a very distinct privilege that we have the opportunity to speak about this stuff, and you guys are cool with that. So thank you for that. Tech Support Gaming came into the 5, says, regardless of who, it should be equally condemnable, right? Violence shouldn't be the answer. I'm genuinely sad and sick to see these people celebrate. I don't want to see people dying over ballots and policies. Preach, 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 preach. And Taker says, my super chat was an Acolyte reference saying Torben's character motivations were those of his actor, a bored guy who wants to go home. Thanks, Taker. Appreciate
I got it now. Okay.
Awesome. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Flash's channel. He said he has lots of videos about this coming up today. So head over to the Yellow Flash 2 channel and check it out. Flash, thanks for hanging out with us today, buddy.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Guys, go subscribe to Blab. Links down below. I'll be playing some video games here in a little bit over on the channel. Appreciate you guys popping in. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Have a great day, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.